Now, blow out your candles and make a wish. That's it. You look splendid in a crummy kind of way. And hi, my friends. Oh, there you are. This distinguished-looking group on our stage here is the I've Got a Secret family posing for a family portrait. You see, this is the 4th anniversary of I've Got a Secret, unbelievably enough. And here you see some of the people who are responsible for getting our show on the air each week. First, there's our redoubtable corps of ushers. And then there is Adria Coe, our production assistant. Blanche Hunter, in charge of wardrobes. And our producer, Mark Goodson. And Bill Todman, who unfortunately really does have chicken pox. And Bill, we all hope that you soon feel better. Now, to celebrate this anniversary, we're going to pull a little switch on here. You see, there is no audience in our theater tonight. Frank, can you get a shot of this magnificent array of empty seats that people, this vast auditorium on colorful 47th Street? All right, so you see we have no audience here. Now then, the panel and the crew and I will be the audience. We've gone back over our shows for the past 4 years, and we have put together what we think are some of the high spots in our career, and we will be watching it along with you at home on this television screen. So, friends, I'll tell you what you do now. Why don't you take your cake down into the audience so that you too can watch the screen right along with the people at home, huh? Everybody start right down that way. And go on down, just get yourself a seat. Make sure you can get where you can see the screen, because we're going to have the filmed highlights. Now then, our stage manager, Joe Papp, if you will throw the official opening cue to announcer John Cannon, we'll start the show officially, huh?
Hey, Garry, here we go. Stand by, John.
I've Got a Secret, presented by Winston, America's best-selling, best-tasting filter cigarette. Yes, Winston tastes good, like a cigarette should. Now, Winston filter cigarettes bring you America's #1 panel show, I've Got a Secret, starring Garry Moore.
Bigger ovations for the unveiling of a man. Everybody fill in. What a magnificent cheering thing. What? Well, all I can say is as we file our way to our seats, we've had 4 wonderful years in television, thanks to all of you people, and thanks to you people at home. And, all this time I've had no microphone? That's interesting. What I started to say is that we've had 4 wonderful years of television, thanks to this fine gang and to you folks at home. And thanks also, of course, to our contestants who have appeared on our show from time to time. And thanks to our cooperative panel. Now, you know, we discovered quite early in our show's history that the audience was very much interested in our panel, not only as performers, but as people. And over the years, we have been able to give our audience many revealing glances into our private lives. As a matter of fact, on our very first show, June 19th, 1952, we had a lady contestant who I just loved. Would you say that to me again, please? I find that very interesting. All right. Now, Bill, on February 16th, 1952, we celebrated your birthday by piping in the voice of a lady who couldn't leave her home in Columbus, Ohio. Let's get a look at her. All right, we'll start at the top of the batting order tonight with Bill Cullen. And, Bill, this concerns something that Mrs. Bilson did.
Something she did.
Mm-hmm.
Hello out there in Columbus, Ohio, Mrs. Bilson.
Hi.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Miss Bilson, did you do this recently, like, within the last year?
No.
She said no.
Oh. Did you?
Emphatically, she said no.
Oh. Did you do this more than once, Mrs. Bilson?
Many times.
Well, is this something you do once a year, like on a special day or something?
No.
Did you do it a long time ago? Where are you? There you are. Is it something that's gone out of style since you did it?
No.
Now, Jane, where were you on the night of December 1st, 1954? I don't want you to answer that because you were sitting on this stage across from Inspector Fabian of Scotland Yard, who had shadowed you all of the previous Saturday. And here we go.
Well, last Saturday, Miss Meadows, at 1:01 midday-ish, you left your clock at 10:09 at Park Avenue, and you tried to get a cab for a moment, but you got one in a few moments, and the number of the cab you got into, by the way, was 027051. I followed you in a cab driven by a man named Sidney Grossman. The number of his cab was 57552, and you went to 62 West 58th Street, and you entered a hairstylist shop.
How fantastic.
And I now have a cold because I waited until 2:14 when you left.
Faye, you remember the happiest expression you ever had on your face. It was May 5th, 1955, and each panelist had baked a cake for a contest, and Earl Wilson was the judge. Watch this.
Which one are you going to award the first prize to? The unanimous decision of the judges, Garry, is at number 3, cake here. Really, it's a mocha with nut dressing, and it's really delicious. How about having some?
Love to,
It's
Faye.
really good.
Is this yours?
Kids will be so proud.
And I just finished icing it, and I had to walk through the streets of New York carrying it, and everybody teased me so.
You're a doll. All of you are.
Henry, the greatest pile of mail we ever received, which was 2,632 letters and wires and postcards, was caused by a hole in your shoe that the audience noticed on September 30th, 1953. Just get a look at that.
What's the Zip. Zip. Get around this side. Zip. Zip.
Living a monkey.
This is a criticism of your shoes. Come here, let's go. Shine Henry's shoe. Shine his shoe. Shine his
Now, just a few months ago, we discovered that the combined weight of this magnificent panel was 600 pounds. That was the night that Olympic champion Paul Anderson lifted all 4 of you off the ground, believe it or not. Or not. Or believe it or not. There it is.
Don't swing. And ladies, turn around and face your audience, please. Look, they're all clear of the ground.
Oh, those are some of the highlights of what happened with our panel over 4 years. We'll take time out now for a little discussion. My first reaction in seeing these films, particularly the original one in 1952, I wondered who that small boy was who was being the moderator. Oh, the things that happened to you in 4 years. Anybody else got any? Do you have any highlights that you remember that you think would have that you remember even more than these things? Anybody?
I remember the time that you had the doctor on that delivered me.
Yeah, that's right.
And that, I think, is my most vivid memory, because all of a sudden I blushed. And I don't blush all the time. I don't do it often. But when I finally found out the truth, that's always been my highlight.
Oh, really? Henry, you got any highlights of things that you remember?
Well, sure. The most astounding one to me was the time you produced my mother. And you know what happened because of that? So many people said, how come you haven't seen your mother in 2 years? You know, and I'd say, well, she lives on the West Coast and I live on the East Coast. They said, well, why didn't you fly her in? And it was difficult to explain that I didn't make much money.
In this business, I don't see why
Yeah,
that's
everybody's
difficult to
supposed to
explain.
be wealthy, though.
That's right.
You know?
Well, it's, no? Huh? Dear. Well, we'll have some more films, just more discussion in a half a second. Right now, we're going to take time out for our commercial and say, tonight, for a change, I've got a secret. Me, myself. You think you know the Winston jingle? Wait till you hear this kid. First time on the air. Brand new Winston jingle. Let me get the tone arm on, and I turn it on, and away we go.
Winston tastes good like a cigarette should. Winston tastes good like a cigarette should. Winston gives you real flavor, full, rich tobacco flavor. Winston's easy drawing too. The filter lets the flavor through. Winston tastes good like a cigarette should.
Now then, I hope you were listening, because we're going to ask you guys to do it. Well, it's a little intricate, and so as you don't have to do the whole thing, let's divide half of us up. You have to be whistlers, and you have to be clappers. So I'll just play the whole gizmo again here. We'll take it back from the beginning, and you all, well, I said whistlers over on this side, clappers over here. All right, here we go. Clap.
Like a cigarette should. Winston tastes good like a cigarette should. Winston gives you real flavor, full, rich tobacco flavor. Winston's easy drawing too. The filter lets the flavor through. Winston tastes good like a cigarette should.
And so forth. It's a dilly, isn't it? That's the new one. I hope you won't forget, however, whether you have memorized the tune already or not, that what it says is Winston tastes good like a cigarette should. Oh, right now, let's get back to some more films. Huh? You are a charming panel, and I try from time to time to be a good moderator, but this show would have been nothing without the remarkable people that we've had as contestants week after week. Now, here's just a small sample. March 5th, 1953. And on the very same show, and on March 9th, 1955, I thought I was really going to stump the panel on September 9th, 1953. We brought out a very pretty girl whose secret was, I don't understand a word of English, only Italian. I taught her to say yes if I tapped her on the knee once, and no if I tapped her on the knee twice. All the panelists were stumped except one. And wouldn't you know who it would be?
Is Garry doing something to you?
She says yes.
Yes.
Why don't you stop him?
That question is not allowed.
Is Garry tapping you?
Yes.
Is he tapping you so many times for yes and so many times for no? Is your secret that you do not speak English?
Yes, that's precisely it.
Then on June 8th, we had a man whose secret was, I throw knives at my mother-in-law. And he did, too.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
Don't worry, he missed you.
Oh, no.
On February 10th, 1954, we had a delightful man with a delightful secret. He couldn't speak English either, so we had an interpreter. This is what his secret was. This.
Well, that's it.
Now, 11 months later, we brought that same delightful man back again. Same interpreter, new secret.
I remember.
Well, I'll be a schmutzikafagel. What do you know?
On December 23rd, 1953, we had a contestant from Columbus, Kansas, and his hobby, if you remember, was saving string. 338 miles of it. 338 miles.
What are you going to do with it?
Build it big.
Oh, you
Build
mean
it bigger.
You want to build it bigger?
Yep.
I hope you will notice this is not just any old string. This is all the same
That is right.
gauge.
Yes, sir.
Well, sir, here's your money. You didn't win too much, but by the way, it will go past Pittsburgh. If you go north, it'll reach to Augusta, Maine. If you go northwest, it'll stop right in the middle of Lake Erie. So be careful. Don't go northwest.
Okay.
And we want you to have a present, sir, from us and from Cavaliers and from Goodson Todman, who are the producers of our show, another piece of string.
And on March 23rd of 1955, panel, we stumped you with the longest secret that we ever had. Unbelievable.
Yes? Yes? And then? Yes? And after that?
And those are some of the highlights of what happened from our many, many, many contestants. I looked around at our panel of four and was just trying to figure out while I was watching some of the film as to what is our rotation as far as length of service on the program. Who's the original settler on here? Bill?
Bill and I.
I think Jane and I started the third week of the show, Gary.
Oh, really? You started on the same week?
On the same week, Jane and I, yeah.
4 years ago.
I had thought that Bill was the oldest settler, but maybe just because he looks older.
In age, he's the oldest.
Yes.
How do you mean that,
Well, let's see then. Bill and Jane started on the same week, and Faye, were you on next, or was it old Hank?
No, I think Henry came on. No.
No, I think...
No, because we came on together. I remember. I said I would go on if I could sit next to Henry.
That's right.
Henry was first.
And Inspector Fabian.
No, I was third, and Faye was fourth.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, anyhow, the five of us have been together for most of the run, the track record on this thing, and I, for one, knock, hope we all stick together for a good long while. Now let's stop and have just a word about... That's why we put this piece of wood up here, just for knocking purposes tonight. Yeah, everybody knock. We're going to have a word now about Winston. Now, I don't have to tell you that I love Winstons. I've tried everything that I could think of to get you to love them, too. For example, last February the 8th, I believe it was, I had an athletic commercial. Friends, during a tough game of Potsy, I always stop and light a Winston cigarette. I find it improves my aim and keeps me from stepping on the crack. Yes, friends, Winstons make me hop good, like a posse player should. Silly. I did that, I believe, in answer to a lady who wrote in and said my commercials were getting pretty dull, that she was used to having the commercials where the fellows held up the razor, and said, I always shave with so-and-so, So we had an athletic commercial for her just on that particular night. I hope you will not forget, however, that my opinion remains the same. Winston tastes good like a cigarette should. One of the happiest things that happened, by the way, we were the first television show to have Winston as our good client, and it was a brand new baby at that time. We started when it had just started its own national circulation, and I think that has been just a little over 2 years ago, a little over or a little under. Anyhow, in an incredibly short time, Winston has now climbed to the position where it is now America's #1 filter cigarette, the best-selling filter cigarette in America. As I've told you before, there's got to be a reason for a thing like that. People don't just suddenly all dash off in one direction for no good reason. Quality of product is the answer. You get our magnificent filter that works so effectively that it lets the flavor through to you. You get these fine tobaccos, of course. Above all, you get a cigarette that's fun to smoke, which is what smoking's all about. So you try Winston if you have not as yet. As a birthday present to us, will you try Winston's? Because my cigarette... We almost had a national crisis on our hands. Because Winston tastes good. Where are you? Like a cigarette should. Now then, on to more film. We have had 208 celebrity guests on I've Got a Secret. We think we have picked the funniest tonight. Our guest was Fat Jack Leonard, and his secret was simply, I am eating the world's largest hot fudge sundae. And what was funny was the way that he made the panel ask the questions. Look and weep.
We will start the questioning with Bill Cullen, please.
All righty. Jack.
Yes? Jack, are you good now? Jack. Oh, Jack, I'm sorry, Bill, your time is up. Yeah, more ways than one. $10 to Jackie. $70 to go. Now, hold it down. Now we go to our next contestant, Miss Jane Meadows.
Does your secret have something to do with taking weight off me?
No, but I'm having a ball, I know that. I'm sorry, Jane, your time is up. We got $20 down, $60 to go. Henry Morgan, please.
Well, now, a couple of months ago, about 300 sailors off the aircraft carrier Lady celebrated their ship's 10th anniversary right here on our stage.
All hands on deck.
Here comes the flight deck crew to move the scenery. These are the fellows who move the airplane. We have a gift for your ship. This is one of 3 television sets which the Winston people are giving to the USS Lady.
Mighty wonderful of you. We keep a quarter of the crew aboard at all times, and I know they will thoroughly enjoy it.
Good. Now, your rating, sir, is captain, am I right?
That's correct.
I hate to tell you this, but this television set is an admiral. It'll do a wonderful job for you, I know. Now, so that all of us can take place in this really very happy celebration, a very proud one, too, I suggest that both you folks out there and us folks up here get together in a hip, hip, hooray for the lady, and we'll do it this way. You folks in the audience on my cue holler hip, hip. The crew up here will holler hooray. Then hip, hip, hooray, hip, hip, and hooray. You ready? Here we go. Hip, hip, hooray! Hip, hip, hooray! Hip, hip,
Well, all I can
can say after watching this film is if it all had to end tonight, it's been worth it. Fortunately, it doesn't have to all end tonight. There'll be another show next week when we start our 5th year. Before we knock it off, has anybody got any comments you'd like to make? Henry?
I had a small thought, Gar.
What's that?
And it's something I've thought for a long time, I imagine, but after seeing the films, I know it's true. And I bet the other kids here feel probably the same way. We have too much fun. We shouldn't take money for it.
Mark, did you make a note of that? You've just done yourself in, Faisy.
I was going to say exactly that. We've had a lovely time. We hope we'll keep on doing it.
Well, tonight we showed the ones that were fun. Some night they get to be work every now and then, I must confess.
I felt exactly like I was at a party seeing home movies.
Yes.
Good, maybe we can dig
Wonderful.
up some more and run these. We can all stay home. Bill?
Well, Garry, I agree with Henry about having too much fun, but after what I heard him say about the money, I'm glad he had to show up in his underwear about 3 weeks ago.
He may be wearing it out on it. Huh? Okay, Joe. Well, it looks like that everyone has finished all the enjoyment we have at hand. Most of the cupcakes are gone. However, this is not the end of the festivities. As most of you know, next door, our friendly innkeeper has laid out a vast spread of turkey and ham and potables. And so you're all invited next door, and we're all going to be there together for a birthday celebration. So I'll tell you what you do, Raj Peterson, if you'll take your big fat bass drum and start beating and lead off, everybody follow on out the stage door and turn to your right. Joe and John Cannon, is John Cannon around? Our announcer, John Cannon? Joe, I don't want to get left out on this here now party, so I'll give this to you as stage manager, and you give the official word to John Cannon and do the announcing.
Okay, Garry.
So, friends, until next week, then, when we start our 5th year, this will be Garry Moore saying bye-bye for all of us. Be very kind to each other, will you? Bye out there.
John, if you take this and give a final announcement, I want to go to the party.
Okay, Joe. Ladies and gentlemen, I've Got a Secret is brought to you each week at this time by Winston, America's most popular filter cigarette. Winston tastes good, like a cigarette should. Travel arrangements for I've Got a Secret are made through United Airlines. United Airlines flies our contestants in fast new DC-7 mainliners. Now, as you know, all the folks are going out to a party tonight, and before I go, I'd just like to say that if you prefer a king-size cigarette without a filter, try the new, all-new Cavalier with a great new blend. You draw rich, smooth smoke, and the flavor comes through Cavaliers. It's extra length of top crop tobaccos. The all-new Cavalier is the king-size smoke with a king-size taste. This has been a Mark Goodson, Bill Topman production.
Brian Keith. I travel all over the world as a freelance writer on the Crusader series. Consult your local listings for time and channel of Crusader.
All right, this is John Cannon saying good night, and I'm going to go to that party. So long, everyone.